We have Elijah Coles, who came to us from Richmond today. He started on his public circuit a little bit this year, and he went out and did such a good job that people started inviting him to speak. So when I heard about him, I did see the video. I told his mom, Brenda Coles, who's a good friend of mine from way back, I said, we've got to have him down here for our team rally, because today he is going to bring the get out the vote message. So y'all, please welcome Elijah Coles.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. 50 years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree is a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who have been seared in the flames of withering injustice. Came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the Negro's life is still badly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, the Negro is still languished in the corners of American society and finds himself in exile in his own land. So we've come here to dramatize a shameful condition. In a sense, we've come to cash a check when the architects of our republic, with the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note to which every American was to fall heir. This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, will be guaranteed the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It is obvious today that America has defaulted on this promissory note insofar as her citizens of color are concerned. Instead of honoring this sacred obligation, America has given the Negro people a bad check. A check which has come back marked insufficient funds.
Come on.
We refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great vaults of opportunity of this nation. So we've come to cash this check, a check that will give us upon the demand the riches of freedom and the security of justice. We've also come to this hallowed spot to remind America of the fierce urgency of now. This is no time to engage in the luxury of cooling off or take the tranquilizing drug of gradualism. Now is the time to make real the promises of democracy. Now is the time to rise from the dark and desolate valley of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice. Now is the time to lift our nation from the quicksands of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood. Now is the time to make justice a reality for all of God's children. It will be fatal for the nation to overlook the urgency of the moment. This sweltering summer of the Negro legitimate discontent will not pass until there is an invigorating autumn of freedom and equality. 1963. It's not an end, but a beginning. Those who hope that the Negro needed to blow off steam and will not be content will have a rude awakening if America returns to business as usual. There will be neither rest nor tranquility in America until the Negro is granted his citizenship rights. The whirlwinds of revolt will continue to shake the foundations of this nation until the bright days of justice emerge. And that is something that I must say to my people who stand on the warm threshold which leads into the gaining our rightful place. We must not be guilty of wrongful deeds. Let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred. We must forever conduct our struggle on a high plane of dignity and discipline. We must not allow our creative protest to degenerate into physical violence. Again and again, we must rise from majestic heights on meeting physical force with soul force. The marvelous new militancy, which has engulfed the Negro community, must not lead us to distrust all white people, for many of our white brothers, as evidenced by their presence here today, have come to realize that their destiny is tied up with our destiny. They have come to realize that their freedom is inextricably bound to our freedom. We cannot walk alone, and as we walk, we must make the pledge that we shall always march ahead. We cannot turn back. There are those who are asking, the devotees of civil rights, when will you be satisfied? We can never be satisfied as long as the Negro is the victim of the unspeakable horrors of police brutality. We can never be satisfied as long as our bodies, heavy with the fatigue of travel, cannot gain lodging in the motels of the highways and the hotels of the city. We cannot be satisfied as long as the Negro's basic mobility is from a smaller ghetto to a larger one. We can never be satisfied as long as our children are stripped of their adulthood and robbed of their dignity by signs stating for whites only. We cannot be satisfied as long as the Negro in Mississippi cannot vote and the Negro in New York believes he has nothing for which to vote. No, we are not satisfied. We will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. I am not unmindful that some of you have come here out of great trials and tribulations. Some of you have come fresh from narrow jail cells. Some of you have come where your quest for freedom left you battered by the storms of persecution and staggered by the winds of police brutality. You have been the veterans of creative suffering. Continue to work with the faith that unearned suffering is redemptive. Go back to Mississippi. Go back to Alabama. Go back to South Carolina. Go back to Georgia. Go back to Louisiana. Go back to the slums and ghettos of our northern cities, knowing that somehow this situation can and will be changed. Let us not wallow in the valley of despair. I say to you today, my friends, though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day, on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into the oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that one day, my four little children will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day, even in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, one day, right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as brothers and sisters. I have a dream today. I have a dream that every hill shall be exalted, every mountain made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall stand together. This is our hope. This is the faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discord of our nation to a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that one day we will be free. This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with new meaning, my my country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside let freedom ring. And if America could become a great nation, this must become true. So let freedom ring from the pride of the hilltops of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the hiding Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And we allow freedom to ring. When we let it ring from every city and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speak up today with all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing the words of the whole Negro spiritual. Free at last! Free at last! Great God Almighty, we are free at last!
All right.
I want my mule right now. Right now, I want my mule.
For allowing me to speak with you today at Team Sharon Scott Get Out the Vote rally. Dr. King said there will be neither rest nor tranquility in America until we are granted our citizenship rights. Well, today we have our rights. Our right to vote is to voice out our opinion of who we want to represent us in office. Councilwoman Sharon Scott has done great things for the citizens of Newport News. We must do our part and make sure we have her care, her dedication, her leadership, and that you know what you want for your district. And so get out the vote. Get out the vote. Say it with me. Get out the vote.
Get out the vote!
Get out the vote.
Get
Get out the vote!
Get out the vote.
Get out the vote!
Get out the vote.
Get out the vote!
Show our support today by making a donation to Team Sharon P. Scott. And just remember, get out the vote. Get out the vote.
I'm telling you right now, I'm starting up to be his campaign man. Lord, just let me live long enough to see. All right, Elijah, great That's what you needed. That's what we needed. 3 weeks before the election.
This is all future. I'm gonna let his mom come up and give you 2 minutes just to tell us how Elijah got started. You're not done?
Has anyone made a donation yet?
He wants to know a bit about a minute donation.
He definitely politics.
I guess I'll be the first one then.
Barack Obama, watch out.
Good afternoon. It's certainly glad to be here today. Sharon and I have been friends for so many years, and even though sometimes we lose touch, nothing has changed from when we pick up and we're on the phone with each other. I can remember when Sharon would drive up and down the road, she would call me and we would talk for hours and hours till she'd get to her destination. So she has been a great friend, and I'm just glad to be here, and I'm glad that you all are here in support. I'm always in support of Sharon. She knows that. Elijah actually started his probably public speaking. I would say about 2 years ago at one of his schools. His teacher, they on a daily basis, or almost a daily basis, they had to do public speaking. So he became extremely comfortable with speaking. And I've always told Elijah that when you speak about something, know the topic. And I think with this particular speech, it actually, and so he's just comfortable speaking. He had been, he said at church quite often, along with, at other events. Now,
Excuse me, Mom. Can I say something?
Okay, let me finish, son. Okay. And that's how he actually got started. I think with this particular speech, he was asked back in October to do a citywide oratorical, and for the full text of Dr. King. And we did pull it offline, and he actually didn't look at it for a while, and he actually memorized it, and he looked at it, he glanced at it, but I think he actually memorized it in about 2 weeks. Wow. It took some time, and I think as he has gone along, he just memorized the entire thing, but he would just keep his notes to glance down just in case. But I think it took approximately about 2 weeks for him to actually memorize this particular speech. So, but I think for me, all I do is just encourage him just to do the best that he can and work very hard at everything that he does. So, and so hopefully we'll see some greater and better things, with Elijah and his public speaking. I encourage him to volunteer. He does a lot of volunteer work, and of course politics is something that is very dear to me. I love politics, and I have taken Elijah with me to volunteer. So this is very important to me, is for him to be here to support Sharon as well. So, and matter of fact, I think one of his principals, even said that he wouldn't be surprised that Elijah would actually be a congressman. So. Thank you so much for all your support. Appreciate that.
I think you wanted to say something.
He wanted to say something.
Okay.
I just say something.
Sure. It's your day.
This is to anyone who's afraid to speak out or something, youth, adults, anybody. Just know your topic, and that should make you feel more confident.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Are you sure he's 10 years old? I don't know. I want to see your driver's license.
Appreciation for you traveling all the way from Richmond just to do this for us. This is just a little token of my appreciation, and hopefully someday when you're just wanting to feel cozy, you'll wrap yourself up in this and you'll think about your visit to Newport News. Okay? So thank you so much for coming again.
All right.
Okay, I see some more people came in while we were speaking. Thank you all for coming. If you don't know me, haven't met me, I'm Sharon Scott. I'm your councilwoman, and I'll be around to talk with you when we're finished here. We're just about done. I just want to say one thing. I'm in a play next Saturday, and I need him to teach me how to learn my lines. He said he learned this in 2 weeks. Come on, honey, you can say anything you want. He said he learned this in 2 weeks, and I've been looking at mine for about 6 weeks, and I have like 40 lines. And I get those twisted. So Elijah, you are wonderful. Yes, go ahead and say something. Say anything you want.
I would like to thank Dr. Boyd over here, and Miss Jubilee over here, and then my mom right here, Miss Joyce, right there, and Miss Marcel, and my godmother, Miss Felicia, and everybody else here.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So one day, Elijah, I can see you standing where I'm standing today, and people are going to be out there clapping for you because you are a future leader in this country. And never let nobody get it twisted. They said they can see you in Congress. I can see you as the next Barack Obama. All right.
Can he lead us in another round? Get out the vote, and we won't be satisfied until Sharon.
Come on, get out the vote!
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 Hey, look, y'all heard the man, okay? So I don't need to go much further than the other thing I need to tell you all now is when to get out the vote. So I need you all to, on May 6th, Tuesday, is the first Tuesday in May, It polls open at 6 a.m. in the morning and close at 7 p.m. If you're not sure where you vote, it's on the back of the cards we have over here on the side. The donation box that Elijah was telling you all about is over there on the side. No donation is too small, so don't think I can't afford to support the councilwoman. If you put a quarter in there, I'm happy because you did show your support, and people put their money where their heart is. So if any donation is fine. I just have to applaud my whole team for all the in-kind donations they have done. I could not pay them if I were to work the rest of this month. I could not pay them for the in-kind donations. So also, we're still looking for volunteers. So if you have some time you want to volunteer, we'll have a volunteer sign-in sheet at the front. And a volunteer means you may have an hour one day. You may call me as a councilwoman, I got 1 hour, what can I do? This headquarters is open every day. It will be open every day until election day. Somebody will be here, I'm not sure who. You have 2 volunteers here?
My 2 nieces.
Oh, good. She just volunteered 2 people. See, that's how we do it. But the headquarters is open every day. But if you have an hour, sometimes we're going out canvassing. I don't like any of my people going out alone. I never go canvassing by myself. Not that I'm afraid or anything, but me and Jesus go. But I like to have a third person because he said when 3 of us are gathered. So me and Jesus, and I need 1 more person. So anytime you have an hour or anytime free you want to go out with me in your community, especially where you vote, those are the most powerful presence I can make is in your community with you where you vote. So I just encourage y'all to stay engaged. Be mindful of the other candidates who are running. We do need strong people at the Hams. Our city is stable, but we're in a particular situation now where we don't need any rookies trying to figure out what to do. So we need to stay focused and have experienced people to lead us from this point forward. The school system has some challenges, and I'm sure the Honorable Darian Scott can tell you about the challenges that they have there, and just some of the things that he's already tasked with challenging just as a board member. Because, for too long, a lot of times we have people who are doing business as usual, or we have a group of people who just go along and get along. That's not how that's not how you get things done. If nobody ever questions anybody else's motives or integrity or information, then everybody's like a rubber stamp. So we do need strong leaders. And so I encourage you all to look at all of our candidates. And the 2 we have here today, I think they're both excellent candidates. The young Mr. Curtis came to my town meeting. I was so impressed with him. The tall one has run before, and he's a former educator. So, I mean, you all have an opportunity to put somebody in office that's really going to do an impact, make a major impact on our school system. So I could give you all a couple minutes since we're here. This is a team rally. They are both actually running for the same seats, but as you can see, there's not any animosity between them. Matter of fact, Mr. Jones said he wanted to meet Mr. Curtis. so I told them they will be here today, but I'll give them 2 minutes if you want.
All right.
Okay.
Get out the vote! 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 Get out the vote!
Paid and authorized by Sharon P. Scott for City Council.